She's so fine. Hell on hell of a blows my mind. Hell of a lights my day.
What's good, guys? Today is Thursday, February the 18th, 2021. I want to start this video by saying love is the most powerful emotion, and that makes it the most dangerous. I can't tell you how many times love has taken me out of character. I couldn't even count. Especially when it comes to someone very close to me. You do have different types of love. You know, you have your family love, you have your friend love, you have your significant other love. You put a hand on my kid, I'm coming with everything I got. That's love to me. That's what love will do to you. So I wanted to preface this story by saying that. This story was wrote on January the 19th. So it's a little bit dated, but I am going to follow this story. This is courtesy of KMOV 4. Missouri woman tracked down brother's suspected killer, then murdered him. That's a picture of her. Her name is Tatiana. Coming out of Kansas City, Missouri. A Kansas City woman is charged with second-degree murder after police say she tracked down the man suspected of killing her teenage brother last week and took actions that resulted in his death. Police say she sent a text to her dead brother afterward, letting him know she had avenged him. Tatiana Coppage, 21, remains in the Jackson County Jail on a $200,000 bond. Coppage's brother, 16-year-old Jason Ugwa, was shot and killed on January the 10th near Paloma Avenue and Topping Avenue in Kansas City, Missouri. He was a junior at Hogan Preparatory Academy and a standout basketball player. Coppage and Ugwa were also struck by tragedy in 2016 when their younger brother and also their cousin, Jaden Ugwa and Montel Ross, were shot and killed while sleeping in their home at 57th Street and College Avenue. Someone had shot into the house, killing Jaden and Montel, who were 8 and 9 years old at that time, and that case remains unsolved. Police say Coppage led the gunman to her brother's suspected killer on January the 13th in a parking lot near Thompson Avenue and Benton Boulevard. The victim's brother had driven him a short distance after the shooting before stopping in the street and calling for help. Responding medical crews worked to save him, but he had already died. He had been shot in the chest and leg. Police used eyewitness accounts and surveillance video to track down the black Ford Escape used in the shooting and speak with Coppage. Coppage admitted to having called the victim before the shooting, but said she only did so in hopes of the man and her father settling their differences before they killed each other. She admitted to getting into an exchange of gunfire with the victim, but described the situation in a way that appeared to be self-defense, saying he shot her vehicle first before she returned fire, according to a narrative written by police in a probable cause affidavit. Investigators reviewed Coppage's cell phone and found text she sent to a contact named Auntie, asking for .45 caliber bullets and saying, quote, LOL, I used too many on bro, end quote. She also sent a text to her dead brother saying, quote, sent a blank to my brother, I owe him that body, end quote, according to the affidavit. Ballistics and forensic examination determined the gun recovered from Coppage was the same one used in the shooting, the probable cause affidavit states. I went to another article. They've charged her with second-degree murder and armed criminal action. This article says her teenage brother, Jason Ugwa Jr., was murdered January 10th. His family said they believed he was shot while he was with 2 other teenagers walking home from the BP gas station at 40 Highway and Topping Avenue. His friends were able to get him back to the house where they called police. It says Fox 4 spoke with KCPD, Kansas City Police Department, the day after his murder about how gun violence is affecting families in the city. Court documents say Ugwa's sister tried to find out who killed her brother and seek revenge. Police say on January the 13th, she shot and killed Keith Lars in a parking lot at Thompson and Gladstone in the historic Northeast. Court documents detail how Coppage figured out the car involved in her brother's killing and came armed to meet Lars. Investigators believe Coppage and Lars exchanged gunfire in a parking lot behind a home. This is the part that really got me. Talks about her 8-year-old cousin and her 9-year-old brother when they were shot back in 2016 and killed. She was 16 at the time. She said they were shot by someone outside of the house and their murderer has not been brought to justice. So that tells you right there, she didn't have any faith in the criminal justice system, period. Jason was home at the time and day of that 2016 incident. And it was said that his brother, Jaden, went and climbed into bed with him. Family members have said this deeply affected both Jason and Tatiana. Says this is Kansas City Mayor Quentin Lucas spoke out about Jason's killing. It says Jason's life and all too early deaths show us that we have to further aid families in close relations to victims of violence, and that we're not doing enough. No, you're not. I know people grieve differently. And I know that there's a lot of people that believe in street justice. And there's a lot of people that believe in court justice. But we have a thing called due process. And it's there for a reason. But this sister's love for her brother was so strong. She wrote an extensive Facebook post. Let me see if I can find that.
A 21-year-old Metro woman is charged tonight with murder. The Jackson County prosecuting attorney says it was retaliation for her 16-year-old brother's death. Fox 4's Sheree Honeycutt following developments for us tonight. She's live outside the Jackson County Courthouse downtown. Sheree?
Yeah, John, it's a tragic turn in the murder of 16-year-old Jason Ugwu. Now his sister is in jail, and prosecutors believe it was retaliation for her brother's killing. 21-year-old Tatiana Coppage is charged with murder. The Jackson County prosecutor says she killed a man in retaliation for her brother's death.
Violent crime is a plague to Kansas City, Missouri right now.
16-year-old Jason Ugwu was murdered January 10th. His body found at a home near Paloma and Topping Avenues. Court documents claim Ugwu's sister then tried to figure out who killed her brother and seek revenge. Coppage is charged with second-degree murder and armed criminal action. Police say on January 13th, she shot and killed Keith Lars in a parking lot at Thompson and Benton in the Northeast.
They're recognizing adult problems. They're recognizing adult anger, adult disappointment. Sometimes they're finding adult solutions at too young an age to many of the problems that confound our city. That's what I fear we've seen in this situation, and that's what I think we're seeing too much of.
In 2016, both Tatiana and her brother Jason experienced gun violence. An unknown shooter killed their 9-year-old brother Jaden and 8-year-old cousin Montel Ross while they were home. Their murders have never been solved.
When you suffer from a traumatic event, particularly a violent event, it does something to you. It changes you, especially if you were a witness to it. And so if you're a witness to a violent crime, you may not immediately notice the changes, but over time, it festers itself. And for everyone, it manifests itself differently.
Everyone I spoke to today says there are resources to help. So if you're, stressed because of gun violence here in the city, there are resources for you. I did reach out to the prosecutor's office today and the police. They did not want to comment. I spoke with Tatiana's family and they did not want to speak.
I cannot find the post. Actually, her entire Facebook account is gone now, but the post read something. This sister acted more as a parent to her siblings and not just a typical brother-sister relationship. She was sacrificing her time and money. She was at sporting events. She was paying for studio time. She was buying their clothes. She said she just wanted them to do good in life. I did want to follow it up with saying that DaBaby and 42 Dugg have offered to pay bail for her. Says, quote, I got the $20,000 if they can get her out on 10%. Tell her people, get with me, 42 Dugg said before DaBaby chipped in. This is earlier this week, news broke that a 21-year-old Kansas City, Missouri woman named Tatiana Coppedge reportedly tracked down her younger brother's alleged killer and fatally shot him as a way to avenge her now late sibling's death. According to several news outlets, Coppedge said, we didn't read that. That's a picture of DaBaby. Hold on. Since learning of the story, rappers 42 Dugg and DaBaby have offered to free her. On Instagram, Dugg said what I just read, and DaBaby replied, and I match you a dub. When cops questioned her, she went into the self-defense mode. Then they pulled up about the text with the ammunition. It says, according to FindLaw.com, it's defined as an intentional murder that lacks premeditation, is intended to only cause bodily harm, and demonstrates an extreme indifference to human life. It's a Class A felony in Missouri, and a person convicted of the crime can be sentenced to 10 to 30 years in prison or imprisonment for life without eligibility for parole. That's 42 Dugg. So, before we judge her, let's remember that it's not our place to be the judge and jury, unless you're actually sitting on a jury somewhere. But you have to take into account that in 2016, nothing happened to her brother's killer, her young brother's killer, how that affected her. And then now her other brother is shot and killed. I know people grieve differently. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying a lot of people live by a different code. So on that note, I'm going to end the video. I'm going to follow this case as well. Thanks for watching, guys.